So, something else to think about, right? If you ever seem to have a general dissatisfaction with kind of the way that life seems to be the same over and over again, that is something that I would call kind of being victim to mechanical living. A friend named Chapman gifted me with that nugget of wisdom when I was living a very mechanical life. I was working for a company, just putting in my hours, a lot of overtime, right? So my after work time pretty short. So I'd, hurry up and get home, get fed, try to rest a little bit, and be grumpy about the fact that I just worked all day to come home and make dinner and eat and go to bed so I could work again. And part of me was feeling that, right? But I was living in this mechanical way, and it was a time when I recognized that in my own station, I was further away from my own guidance and my relationship with spirit, and I was living correctly in the sense that in the discomfort that I was experiencing, that I was learning a great deal, right? I was learning about how much I'd really want it, right? To go after being myself. And I was also learning about the experience of being a householder and responsibilities and the pressure of life, right? Because I was like, after I got out of prison, I got back into the pressure of life, right? Because when you're in there, you're just in the cooler, right? You're just sitting in timeout, waiting to get out. And then all of a sudden you're out and the pressure's back on, right? So I'm feeling the pressure. And I was living mechanically, right? And it didn't feel good. But a lot of us be living mechanically, right? That's just the way it is because we haven't been seen, we hadn't seen anything else. And that's a function of an experiment that we've been running with our culture and our society, right? And it's really the experiment ain't been around more than 200 years, really, right? Because you think before then, most everybody was living out on some little piece of land, living with the earth, trying to scratch together a life, right? Right out of the earth. Most everybody's growing their own food and take their surplus for trade and whatnot. And we all lived like that, up to about a couple hundred years ago, maybe 250 years ago, when the mechanical revolution started coming around, right? And all of a sudden we can start building stuff. And when you start building stuff, then you start creating jobs, right? And so then you start getting everybody getting out of the fields and then into this factory life, right, of creating goods and services. And then you create machines to do the farming. So it takes less farmers to farm than ever, right? It's incredible how much food we can crank out with the machines we got right now. It's pretty amazing. So the mechanation, or becoming a more mechanical society has allowed us to become specialists, right? We all fall into some diverse field in this world and do our little part, right? But somehow the whole structure doesn't really feel all that good to us right now because along with that mechanical industrial revolution, what happened is you get more people into factories. You start, and at the same time, the public school system started to come up, right? And so what they did is that they actually started modeling schools like the life of a factory worker, right? And so you go and you go to your station, your desk, and you stay there until the boss says you can go, right, the teacher, and you have to act right and do good, and there's these artificial pressures that are created for you to do what you're supposed to do, and if you don't, then, the institution and your peers will kind of tune you up a little bit, right? So that all gets us into some kind of space and way of being, and it might take away from your opportunity to express yourself, right? And so we have these regimented school systems that are teaching us, and it's better than no education at all, right? For sure. It's good to be able to, everybody can learn to read, right? It's a huge value. How to do some arithmetic and do at least the basics, right? And decide how far they want to take that. Anyway, all this setup kind of living, we go through a school system based on a bunch of ideas of how you should act, behave, and when you can go. The bell rings, you're off of work, right? You're out of school. Just like Fred Flintstone. Bell ring, he's sliding down that brontosaurus. He's going home. Time to get some ribs. Anyway, so this keeps going on, right? And so then you get out of the school, maybe you go to college, and then it's still like, oh, where do I fit into this? And how do I make this work? and you go through your college experience or whatever your after high school thing is, right? I'm prior military, so I went into military afterward, trying to find my place in this world, right? Did my service and all that. But we're all trying to, some of us, right? There's some people, honestly, they like all that, right? And they're happy to stay there in their sort of little, in a mechanical situation, right? You can't convince them they're uncomfortable. And I don't want to convince them they're uncomfortable. If they like what they're doing, that's fine, right? More power to them, right? I seen people lot easier for them to get happy in a simple way than me, right? I got to figure a bunch of things out before I can even start to be happy. So anyway, blessed be those who are comfortable, right? But if you're starting to feel uncomfortable in this mechanical ways of being, then I feel you, right? And it's up to us to decide what that's going to be like, right? And one of those opportunities, I'll get into more of this later, it's about like voting with your dollar, right? You deciding where you're going to spend your money is deciding what goes back on the shelf, right? And that's a reflection of our entire consumption economy. But also, just sort of being more authentic with your dollar, taking something to something somebody bought, right? So that you're participating in a local economy now, right? And you're starting to create a thing where you're trading dollars among people, right? And so you're trying to liberate each other by sharing into your own little economy instead of dumping money into some, funneling it upstream to some mainstream business. You spend it locally. You keep those dollars local. Don't export your dollars, man. Don't export your dollars out of your town, out of people. If you can put the dollars in somebody's hand that you care about, right? And you pay 10% more or 20% more, right? That's just a little blessing. Anyway, so we're going to get out of all that. If you don't want, if you're tired of the mechanical living, you want to feel a little more organic and free, that's on my heart too, right? That's on a lot of people's heart. And we can feel our way into a different way of doing things, right? And it's just a matter of just imagineering it and loving into the situation as it already is, right? We just, wherever we're at, everything behind it has been an experiment, right? Experiment. We're going to take that experiment, we're going to gather conclusions of that experiment, right? And we're going to make some new conclusions, and we're going to make some hypotheses, and we're going to go out there and we're going to see what happens, right? So, if you're ready to start living a little more freely, and you'd like every day to be a bit of a surprise, I don't blame you. And it sure can be. We'll figure it all out, or the best we can, right? And it's never done. And it's always going to be a little bit of mess left on the table, but we're going to keep doing our best. Appreciate you.